Grab your coffee, mama. It's time for coffee, clients, and nap time. I'm Sarah Marie, and this is your guide to building a business that works for you and your family. Here, we'll dive into creating a thriving business that lets you be the hands-on parent you want while designing the life you've always dreamed of. So if you're ready to balance business success with family life and make it all work in a way that feels right for you, then let's dive in. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Naptime Chats. Today's guest is someone I know so many of you are going to resonate with. Lauren Hogan is the founder of Hey Lauren, where she helps mums build calm, sustainable businesses that actually work around their life and kids, not the other way around. She's not a coach. She's not a VA. She's the one you call when you've outgrown DIY and you're ready to run your business with real systems, support, and strategy that still honors your season of motherhood. Lauren's story is one of hitting rock bottom, rebuilding after burnout, and creating a business that holds space for life, freedom, and growth. She brings heart, honesty, and so much wisdom, and I can't wait for you all to hear this conversation. Hi, Lauren. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Hey, Sarah. Thank you. I'm very excited to be here.
Now, I know you've got such an amazing story to share with all of us, but I'd really love to start at the start. So can you let me know a bit about your journey into business and how that all started out for you?
Yeah, definitely. Okay. So I was doing the 9 to 5, like pre-kids. I worked my way up in a dental practice and was the practice manager, and everything ran through me. And it was like, I was very satisfied until I had kids. And then I couldn't do that for them. And it did not go down that well. So I was like, I need an out. And my little boy was born with a heart condition. And so I was in medical appointments, he was in operations, and it was just a really stressful time for me. And I got quite severe postnatal, which I didn't really let anyone know how bad it was, just my partner. And I lost a few friends because I couldn't function. But while I was, trying to do all of this, I was like, I don't want to work for someone. I don't want to have my hours or how I can look after my child ruled by anyone else other than by me. And so I went and started a product business. This was pre-COVID. I started a product business selling party items. And then COVID happened and I had to really quickly pivot because no one wanted to buy the item in COVID. So I did like digital party products and all of that really fun stuff. And then it transitioned into making planners and acrylic planners. And I grew this business to 5 figures monthly. But at the end of the day, I had no money. I had no money. I was working until 1, 2. I was doing deliveries at 3 o'clock in the morning. I was driving my, 18-month-old around the car. He was hating life because he was like, this is just awful. And my postnatal was so bad that I was having suicidal thoughts. And I was like, I need to, everyone would be better if I wasn't here. I'm letting everyone down. And so I got some really great help from a few beautiful people and then decided I'm just going to close it down. I didn't have energy to sell it. I'm just going to close it all down and I'm just going to go to work. Working can't be that bad. And then I went back to work for that, 3 days a week, and it just was awful. My son hated daycare, and I would literally sit in the car and I would bawl my eyes out after dropping him off, and I would cry all the way to work. It was a 20-minute drive. And then I would pull myself together, do my work day, and I would literally be just running to leave. And I was like, I can't keep doing this. It's killing me, and it's not fun for him. And so because I was in all the Facebook groups still of business owners and stuff like that. And there came a little ad for a VA, for a photographer. And I was like, I could do someone's admin, sure. And then so I reached out and I was like, hey, I've never done anything like this before in my life, but I think I could be a really good fit. Gave her my resume. She's like, yeah, let's jump on a call. And literally on that call, I was like, this is my job. This is what I want to do. Because it was helping women build amazing things. And that's what I wanted to do. And it was that kind of moment of oh my gosh, yes, I was so lit up. And then I definitely made all those little VA mistakes that you do at the start of I was charging myself out at $12.50 an hour. and like just doing all those little crazy things that you do as you build your business and learn all those types of things. And then after about 6 months to a year, I realized that I was definitely not just doing those VA tasks. I was really quickly moving business owners into that next level of business and how to keep consistently bringing in the income that they were bringing in. And we were like having really great results. I was working with a lot of photographers and creators, and that was kind of my niche area. And so that's kind of where I then became Hey Lauren, and it grew into what it is today.
That is an amazing story. And I know it's one I resonate with. And so I'm sure all our listeners are also going to resonate with. I'm really interested to hear more about that moment when you just realized that the business needed to work around motherhood for you rather than against it.
Yeah, hugely. So like, and I'm sure you feel this as well, we get so sucked in to that Instagram life of like, you need to be hitting, and you know what, when I was doing it, it was 10K months. Now it's like, you need to be hitting 30K months. And the metrics are kind of set out by people who don't have kids or by companies that are like masculine led. And so I was trying to do that, and I could not do it. And the more and more I tried to, the more and more like my relationship was impacted. My kids were, neglected. And so I really just tried to block out that noise of what you're supposed to do in business and create something that really worked for me. And it's taken like trial and error of a lot of things, but I've now definitely reached that point in my business where like I have my boundaries and all my clients know that. Like Wednesday, so today, it's like my mama day and I only work in nap time, and that's all it is. And then on Wednesday nights, I don't do any work. I just chill out. But on Mondays and Tuesdays, I have a nanny because I didn't want my kids to go to, well, my kids don't like daycare and I just couldn't deal with the germs because my partner and I are both self-employed. And so I was like, okay, we're going to just do this differently. We're going to get a nanny. We're going to have a cleaner every fortnight. I don't ever go food shopping. It's like the bane of my life. And I just do click and collect. Like I just started creating systems inside my business that could be made more for me rather than looking at what other people were doing. And like, I'm not here for first class flights, but I'm definitely here for like first class cleaner. Like that's what I wanted to have, was the ability to run a business. And because all the bro marketing, all the, leaders were saying like, build your team, do all of this type of stuff. And I'm like, I cannot. I already have a team. They're my family and they take a lot to manage. I do not want to add in another person that then's going to add in, another extra layer of what if they can't do their role and I have to then fill not only my position, but their position at the same time. And so like my goal in business was never to build a giant team, because I just know what's involved with building a team, because I've worked with many teams and I work in businesses with teams. And I was like, I'm going to just do this my way. And they're only so little for so long. Like then they go to full-time school and, you get more than nap time to work.
That's so very true. I'm actually really keen to explore this side of help, but not within your actual business, because I think many times we're told that building a team around us is, getting people into your business to support you. But I love the idea. And I admit I do have she's not a nanny. She's a personal assistant / childcarer / my sister, but she comes once a week and she helps me out around the house. So she's my cleaner / childcarer / jaunt down to the shop for me if I need to. And she brings her youngest with her and looks after my little one who's at home and gives me one day a week where I just focus solely on work. So I love this conversation because people always think help has to come from within the business. Like I need an assistant or I need someone to manage people or to outsource to. But I'd love to talk more about how you dealt with the guilt of letting go of the mum side of, not the mum side, that's the wrong word. Because we have all these female roles that we do in the house, the cleaning, the cooking and the shopping type thing as part of the mum role, but then outsourcing that instead so then you can focus your energy on your business. How did you deal with kind of like letting go of that guilt that kind of would have come up around that?
Yes. Okay. I actually love this question because until you asked me this, I actually haven't had any guilt, because I have definitely made these choices like very actively in like going through life. And I've seen the side of daycare that we're all okay with sending our kids to daycare. We're all okay with working 9 to 5s and sending our kids to daycare. But that for me was more guilt tripping than it is having someone in my home, someone who when I got a nanny, I wrote out a list of what I really wanted this person to be. And I really wanted them to be someone who was in our life, who loved my kids like I love my kids. They were that second mum, because I don't have a village. I don't have a very close family in distance. So I couldn't just get that support from just, someone coming over and so I could do a couple of things. It's just me and my partner, and we do it 24/7. And so I really needed that support. And because I couldn't have it as a family member, I had to essentially find a family member and pay them to be part of our family. And the nanny that we have is just so amazing. And my kids just love her. And she's such a mum. She makes me lunch. That's she mums me as well. And I'm oh, this is worth so much.
So for all my listeners, find yourself another mum.
Yeah, find a mum.
Find yourself your own mum.
Yeah. And I have multi-generational friends. I've got a 40 and a 50-year-old friend, and they've got teenage boys, and our kids play basketball together. And I just sometimes I'm I need a mum. I need to be cared for as well, because sometimes it is really exhausting that you're always having to be that type of thing. So I think that getting support for your kids in a way that's chosen by you is not something to ever feel guilty about, because the village, they say that to us all the time when you're in your prenatal, postnatal appointments. They're use your village. And it's well, no offense, but I don't have a village. So how am I going to create a village? And this one little thing that I have done has my mental health is so much better. Actually, where the guilt does come in is that if I'm not working when I have my nanny, that's when I have guilt, because I think that I'm wasting that time, rather than being no, actually the reason you have this is to give you more time to be able to, go to Pilates or do something like that. Whereas when I have my nanny, I'm literally just at my desk. So that would be my next level that I want to get to.
Yes, I love that. That leads very nicely into my next question, and this is a really big one for me, which is about this invisible load of being the default parent and being the CEO of your own business. Because I think a lot of us as mums struggle with that balance, because we do become the default parent. I have a partner who is amazing at being a dad, but I'm still the default parent. The baby still comes to me, and I'm still the one running the business from home. So I'd love to hear what helps you to kind of balance those two sides of your world, and how you find that.
Okay. So I'm going to also just preface this with the fact that we are both self-employed. We both work for ourselves. We both, earn relatively the same amount. And yet I am still the default parent. And we have had numerous arguments over this. But we've definitely come to this next stage where my biggest thing is men, they generally, and I, with all the things that happen in the world and relationships, I do just want to say this is just my situation, but men generally want to just protect us. And so sometimes when we are, building businesses that they're not really sure of, my partner, he works for himself, but he's a tradie. And when I talk about what I do, he's how is this even a job? I'm yes, I know. But I'm we have this we want to build this business, and all they see is us having a meltdown because we're trying to do all this type of stuff. And for them, the solution is well, just stop doing what you're doing and just do the parent part instead of freaking out. They're just very logical. And so the biggest thing for me was really just recognizing this. And then, really whenever he's not my business coach. I hardly ever ask him business related questions because the response I get just infuriates me. But I go to him and, I'll be look, I need to just chat this out, or I really need a hug, or, hey, on Tuesday afternoons, I need you to do school pickup for me because that's the way it is. Or, hey, I need you to drop our son to school before you go to work. I am now not so afraid. Well, not afraid, that's a terrible word, but I now have no issue with voicing what I need and what expectations I kind of have. And if he finishes work at 4:00 some afternoons, I'm okay, well, you've got the kids this afternoon. I'm in my office, I'm doing my work. And there's that I don't then discount what I do for it. I'm still the default parent. I'm still that type of person, but that's also the type of person I am. I'm very organized. I like to know what everything is. And I can retain more in my brain than he can. Said with so much love.
I think that's where the mental load comes in. Quite often we are better at the mental load. So that's why we kind of automatically take that on. But I think it's really nice that you said that, like, you just got really clear with him. I need you to do this.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Calendars, wall calendars. That's what we have. So everyone knows where everyone is.
That is so good. I'm a very visual person, so I get that. You put it on a calendar, everyone knows, everyone can see. I'm really keen to move a bit more into your business side of things now. We've touched a bit on, obviously, motherhood and how you have navigated that with your business. I would love to hear your thoughts on mums in business and how you support them. Like, what is it that you do? How is it that you do it? And why do you love supporting mums in business?
Okay, so I am a OBM and a business strategist. I like to say a creative OBM because I'm not very black and white. I don't believe that there is a system for everyone. Like, I do not offer copy and paste templates or anything like that. I really think that everyone has their own way of running their business and they have to have a system that fits into their business and their life. And like we said, like mums, we have to run our businesses differently. We do not have the luxury of an uninterrupted 9 to 5 workday. Like, even when I have an uninterrupted workday, I've still like popped a load of washing on in the morning or done something like that. And so I really like to give the, actionable tips that they can then use inside their business of like time blocking, which I know is sometimes really hard because you're like, oh, like sometimes it doesn't go to plan, but that's fine because that's just one day. Like, instead of just, oh, I'm not going to time block because it doesn't go to plan. It's like, well, it's just one day that didn't go to plan. So if you're using it 80, 90% of the time, you're going to actually be more productive. But I love working with mums because, one, like, I'm a mum, and I also think that we are a very overworked and undervalued member of society. Like, we are always the kind of backbone of everyone, but we always get put to the back of all of the things. And so I really want to give that power back to mums and back to women to be able to build something that's for them. That, the reason why we work is because we want to put food on the table. We want to, pop our kids in all of the sport activities. We want to give our kids all those amazing opportunities. And that's our why. And like, those types of things are what connects me with a person. And I generally like to work with people that have those same type of values and the same type of, purpose for doing what they do.
I absolutely love that you're so clear on who it is that you want to work with and why. I think it's such a great, like, to know what your purpose is and who you're trying to support makes business a lot easier. I would really love to delve a bit deeper into maybe some of the advice you give to the mums that you work with. Obviously, you are working as an OBM, you're helping them with their businesses. I know a lot of the mums that are listening are probably like, I don't know if I need an OBM, but if you could give one piece of advice that kind of goes across all the clients that you've worked with, or mums in general, what would that kind of be?
There's a lot, but I think one of them I think that's really important is like, what are you doing in your business that, because we all are busy. Like, we're always saying, oh, we're busy, busy, busy. Like, but what are you actually doing in your business that's moving your business forward towards your goals? And what is actually bringing you in an income? And what is draining your energy and draining your time? And it's like, if social media is like an absolute bane on your life and you spend hours doing content plans and you spend hours doing all of this type of stuff to really make social media happen because that's what you're told to do, like, just stop. Firstly, stop for a second. And I am a very reactive social media poster. I will post on my stories probably every day because that's where my people are, but I will post on my feed, just a couple of times a month, whatever comes up. But then I nurture my email list constantly. And it's easy because it's just like, I don't have to show up. I don't have to think of a reel. I don't have to, feel defeated when not many people, look at it or like it or comment on it, or all the vanity things that we care about. With email, I just send it out to the world. And then there's, I get a percentage rate. And if it hits the percentage rate, then I've done my job. But I really think like stripping back that kind of what you're told to do and actually look at what's going to benefit you in your business and how you can then easily achieve it, because it's always much more simpler than we think. Like, we overcomplicate things a lot.
Yeah, well, I think we definitely do. I noticed on your website you talk about systems with softness. Do you want to have a chat about how back-end strategy helps us create breathing room instead of hustle? Because I'm so anti-hustle culture. So I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Okay, amazing. Yeah, systems with softness. I I don't talk about this enough. I really should do a post on this one. But systems with softness, it's like bringing joy or bringing heart or bringing things like that into what you have already kind of created inside your business. For example, a funnel or one of those types of things. We'll use a funnel for an example. Creating a funnel. So you have to do all of the things for it, but obviously like test it, make sure it works, all of that type of stuff. And this then becomes, something that works inside your business. But if you are creating a plan that is a funnel that's then going to automatically bring in revenue, it's going to nurture your clients, and you're not having to do everything all the time, then that is going to be like the biggest game changer for you. Popping in, in your email subject, in your email sign-offs or out of office email that they instantly get every day that just says, I'm only check my emails on Mondays and Wednesdays. Like these little tiny things is just what can create a really boundary and easeful business compared to what we have of where we live in a world where we're always contactable now. Like it's not like back in the day where if you rang a home phone, you didn't answer, someone left a message and you might get a call back in a couple of days. Like that doesn't happen anymore. So it's teaching people that you have your boundaries, and it's okay to hold that boundary and protect that energy around you and create a system inside your business that is going to give you that.
I love that you're talking about boundaries, because that was my next question. It's like you're reading my mind. I would love to delve a bit deeper into when you first started putting boundaries up in your business, how that felt for you, and then what the outcome's been from putting those boundaries in place and how that served you.
Oh, okay. So I am like the textbook people pleaser. I really, really struggled to put those boundaries in place because I'm such a yes person. Like you come to me with an idea and I'm usually like, yes, let's do it. And I kind of would overextend myself because I really wanted something to work for someone else. But as you start to grow and as you start to, like I have some very high level clients now that I hold space for and do the work with them. And I found that I was beginning to really resent what I had created because there was this almost non-spoken thing of like, oh, ask Lauren because she'll just do it instantly for me. And so I had to have a real, and like this is the important thing about having a really great relationship with your clients is I had to have some really hard conversations with my clients of just a little reminder again, and took full responsibility that like, hey, I've really let my boundaries slip. I've started, replying to messages at this time, or I've started working until 12 o'clock at night and I'm doing stuff for you, but I don't want to do that anymore. And we're going to bring it back. And then this is what I'm going to be doing instead. And just one, finding the boundaries that are actually you're going to stick to. And then two, actually then following through, because you can't say to your client, oh, I don't work, Fridays, and then jumping into the group chat being like, hey guys, like just a couple of things, because you are then breaking your boundary. So the biggest thing is you actually have to hold your boundary so that then your clients do. So even if you get a message late at night and you're like, oh, I could just reply quickly and we could chat about it. Don't. You have to really hold that and be like, hey, the next morning you just jump in and you just do it then. My biggest thing that I do to really hold that boundary, one, I've turned off all my notifications for any of my work conversations that come in, like my Asana, my WhatsApp sometimes, Instagram, like all of those get turned off at a certain time and they get turned off over the weekend. So unless I actively go in there to have a look, nothing can make me reactively go and action it. But then also, reminding your clients of the value of your time and that you can't just be jumping in all the time to kind of save them. And usually what I found was if I wasn't jumping in to save them, I'd usually get a message in about 15, 20 minutes being like, don't worry, I've actually found what I was looking for.
Isn't it funny that they come to rely on us so much because we are yes people and we givers? Clients do tend to just solely rely on us. I'm curious if you've ever had to deal with a red flag client, as they are commonly termed, and if it came up because they didn't respect those boundaries that you put in place.
Yes, I have had a red flag client, and yes, this was pre me kind of reaching the level that I'm at now. And it was when I was still doing VA work. And I definitely said yes to a project that probably wasn't something that I actually aligned with. And then it kind of was a compounding thing of I hadn't set out the expectations very clearly. And so like it wasn't so much that they were a bad client. It was just that my expectations weren't clear. I definitely didn't hold my boundaries. They didn't really know what to expect because I hadn't set out those expectations. And it just became a really uncomfortable project that I ended up refunding because I was just like, I just can't. Like, let's just leave it and we'll just have, a nice parting way. But that's an uncomfortable kind of place to sit in as well sometimes, of just being like, you know what, maybe it is just easier to just cut up my losses and part ways and move on to more people and just really learn that lesson from them.
Yeah, I think that's such a state of growth. We're going to wrap up in a moment, but I would really love to hear from you for any mums that are thinking about going into business. So I'm talking about maybe mums that are currently on maternity leave, don't want to go back to their 9 to 5, know there's something more for them out there, sort of getting into that space. What would be your pearl of wisdom for them, or something you'd want to impart as a mum who's obviously been in that space, come through such an amazing journey to get to where you are today? And it is a journey, obviously, to get there. So what would be the one thing that you would really love to say to these mums?
I think the reminder that the season you're in at the moment is exactly that. It's just a season and your kids will grow and you'll get more time back. But if you can build something for yourself now, you will reap the growth over time. But it takes time. Like, don't look at people who just seem to have had overnight success. Look at the people who are, still in business 3-4 years on, because that's what a sustainable business looks like.
I love that. I think that's a perfect note to finish up our conversation on. Thank you so much for your time today, Lauren. It's been such a pleasure to chat with you.
Oh, you're so welcome. I've loved it.
Thank you so much. Thanks for joining me on Coffee, Clients and Naptime. If you've enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with another mum who's ready to build their dream life. You can also join our Facebook page or Instagram to stay connected every day of the week. The link is in the show notes. Just remember, you've got this, and I'm here to help every step of the way.